Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Sayyid Salman Shafkat with you to deliver our next lecture on magnetochemistry, and I am happy that we have covered almost more than our half syllabus about magnetochemistry. This 14th lecture. In this we are talking about Curie law in magnetization and then derivation of magnetic moment from magnetic susceptibility, and then we shall see what is a difference between magnetic moment and effective magnetic moment. As in some start lectures from the beginning, I told you about quenching of orbital angular momentum, and I remember that in that lecture I told you that in case of 3D transition elements, the ligands they limit or restrict the movement of electron around the central metal atom, and they quench their orbital angular momentum, and there is only existence or contribution of spin. So that is a difference between magnetic moment and effective magnetic moment, but in detail we shall talk in our coming slides. And at the end, as usual, I have some assignments, questions for your personal assessment. Curie law in magneton, and the picture at the top left is the scientist who presented this law, that is Curie. Curie law is also known as Curie equation. This law depicts that as the temperature rises, the randomness of individual atomic magnetic moments increases. Previously, we have discussed this law, and I related this relation with temperature. And if you go back about the magnetic states of material, the first state that we studied was paramagnetic. For paramagnetic substances, I told you that there are existence of magnetic moments, but that magnetic moments are randomly distributed. And when we place a paramagnetic species in an applied magnetic field, then these magnetic domains align themselves in the direction of applied magnetic field. And we know very well that when we increase temperature, then there is a decrease in magnetic moment of paramagnetic species. The reason behind the decrease in magnetization is randomness. We studied two factors. One, applied alignment of individual magnetic moments, and the other factor was thermal agitation. We know every type of species, whether solid, liquid or gas, they have certain amount of energy within themselves that induce molecules to move from one position to another position. According to Marie Curie, magnetic susceptibility of paramagnetic substances is inversely proportional to temperature, and corrected magnetization or susceptibility of paramagnetic species is equal to n mu square effective over 3 kT. It is evident that corrected paramagnetic susceptibility is inversely proportional to temperature. This law is known as Curie's law, and we know that corrected paramagnetic susceptibility is inversely proportional to temperature, and when we replace sign of proportionality, there is always a constant, and in this case the constant is C, and it is known as materials Curie constant, where C is a constant which is equal to n mu square effective over 3k. This constant is characteristic of the substance and it is called Curie's constant on the name of scientist, and above expression is known as Curie's equation. The equation number 1 can be rewritten as C is equal to x m corrected into absolute temperature. This is just a rearrangement of previous equation. From the equation, it is evident that psi m corrected value against 1 over t will give us a straight line having a slope with inverse of c, which intercepts the origin. As xm corrected is equal to n mu effective square over 3k over t, where n is Avogadro's number, mu is magnetic moment, k is Boltzmann constant, and T is absolute temperature. Why we have introduced Avogadro's number? Magnetic susceptibility is directly dependent on gram, or we can say mass of a volume, mass of a species, or we can say that magnetic susceptibility is dependent on volume of a species. In our previous lectures, we have discussed, or maybe in our coming lecture, we shall discuss again that susceptibility is usually determined in the form of molar volume susceptibility or gram susceptibility. So it means when we increase the amount of a substance, of a paramagnetic substance, in an applied magnetic field, then there will be an increase in magnetic moment of that particular species. Here is a graph of 1 over x m corrected, that is corrected inverse of corrected paramagnetic susceptibility versus temperature, Curie law behavior of a paramagnetic substance. A plot of 1 over psi m corrected versus absolute temperature is a straight line with a slope of 1 over c and an intercept of 0. In other way, we can see that there is an inverse relation between temperature and magnetic susceptibility. But if we take inverse of magnetic susceptibility, then there will be a direct relation between these two factors. This is exactly a similar case as Boyle's law, that there is an inverse relation between pressure and volume, but there is a direct relation between pressure and inverse of volume. By comparing equation 1 and 2, C over T is equal to n mu effective over 3k over T. C will comes equal to n mu effective square over 3k, and mu effective will be equal to 3kc over n. So we know when we have to remove a square of n species, the reciprocal of square is under root. So we shall take under root of left hand side as well as right hand side. So the under root will come only towards right hand side, because at left hand side under root will be cancelled with the square. So by putting value of c from equation 2 from the previous slide in equation number 4, we shall obtain a relationship, that is mu effective is equal to under root of 3k over n dot under root of psi m corrected into t. Here 3k and n are constant, so it may be solved out, because k is a Boltzmann constant and n is Avogadro's number. So value of mu effective will be equal to 2.83 under root of psi m corrected into t. Thus, first of all, volume susceptibility of a substance is obtained from which molar susceptibility is calculated, and then the result is converted into temperature independent paramagnetization and diamagnetic contribution. From corrected molar susceptibility, calculate the magnetic moment of atoms, ions or molecules responsible for paramagnetism. As paramagnetism is temperature dependent, or for the magnetic property, temperature should be reported. So in this slide, actually, the author wants to say that whenever you observe a table in any literature or book for the magnetic moments of various species, then the author must have included the temperature at which he has measured magnetic moment of the presented species. Secondly, corrected molar susceptibility. Calculate magnetic moment of atom, ions or molecules must be corrected. It means there is always existence of diamagnetism because all the species have much number of paired electrons, and there will be only a few number of unpaired electrons. So the magnetization showed observed by an instrument is actually equal to uh, magnetization observed equal to total magnetization minus magnetization contribution. A plot of reciprocal of magnetic susceptibility versus temperature. In this graph, the plot A is representing Curie law. The plot B is showing Curie-Weiss law for ferromagnetic substances with Curie temperature. C is Curie law for an antiferromagnetic species with Néel temperature. Now initially we shall talk about the line A. In the graph, the A is small, and you can see just under A there is a written para. Para means paramagnetic species, and theta is equal to 0, and as we go on moving on x-axis, theta is greater than 0. Theta is actually representing temperature in Kelvin, and in y-axis there is a factor that is inverse of magnetic susceptibility. Paramagnetic substances, as we know, that they have an inverse relation with temperature, but inverse of magnetic susceptibility has direct relation. Ferromagnetic substances, initially they show an abrupt decrease in magnetization, but at Curie temperature their behavior against applied temperature is linear, just like paramagnetic materials. So we can see that ferromagnetic materials, the line is not starting from 0. So it means their behavior becomes linear after certain temperature. And the plot C, which is representing behavior of antiferromagnetic substances, is starting from negative x value. From our previous discussions, we know that initially there is an increase in magnetic moment of antiferromagnetic materials, and after some time they start showing decrease in their magnetization with temperature. So that's why the dotted line, which is going into negative x and showing that theta is less than 0, means that initially there is a inverse relation, but after some temperature they will start showing their behavior just like paramagnetic materials. In our third or second last lecture, I have given a colored diagram that is showing directly effect of temperature on magnetic susceptibility. The difference in a colored diagram that has been presented in some previous lecture is that the graph over there is between temperature and magnetic susceptibility, but here is inverse of magnetic susceptibility. With theta is temperature at which the line cuts the t-axis, xm corrected versus temperature, and is called V's constant. The V's constant may be due to interionic or internuclear interactions. If theta is positive above 0 Kelvin, the substance is said to be ferromagnetic, and if theta is negative, that is below 0 Kelvin, then substance is said to be antiferromagnetic. The value of mu effective for substances which obey Curie-Weiss law is given by mu effective is equal to 2.8 into under root of psi m corrected into E minus theta. But the substances which obey Curie law, the theta factor will be omitted. For those molecules, this factor will reduce to 2.83 into under root of psi m corrected into absolute temperature. If theta is indicative of intermolecular interactions among the moments, theta is greater than 0, ferromagnetic interactions, not ferromagnetism. If theta is less than 0, anti-ferromagnetic interactions. If theta is positive, then magnets tend to align parallel. If theta is negative, then magnets tend to align anti-parallel. Actually, I told you so many times that there are two types of species. One of them are those in which magnetic moments are apart from each other and they don't interact with each other. Such type of substances are known as magnetically dilute, and these substances show phenomena of paramagnetism. But the other case is that in which the magnetic domains or electrons are closer enough to each other and they can disturb magnetic moment of neighboring species. In such a species, the magnetic moments are saturated. When they are closer to each other, they are affecting each other. Then there are two possible ways. Either they will reinforce each other, either they will cancel out their effect. Néel temperature or magnetic ordering temperature. Néel temperature is also known as magnetic ordering temperature, and it is represented by Tn. Above this temperature, anti-ferromagnetic material show a direct relation with temperature, but at Néel temperature they are converted into paramagnetic species. It means thermal energy becomes large enough to destroy macroscopic magnetic ordering within the material. The Néel temperature is analogous to Curie temperature for ferromagnetic materials. It is named after the scientist, that is Louis Néel, and its era is mentioned as from 1904 to 2000, and he received Nobel Prize in Physics in 1970. So, for your understanding, I thought to include the direct graph. In last slides I told you about this graph, but for your better understanding I included this slide again in this lecture. So in this slide the relationship or graph is between susceptibility and temperature. The graph that we discussed in previous slides was between temperature and inverse of susceptibility. So initially we shall talk about a black curve, that is paramagnetic species. We can see that with increase in temperature, this line is going down, down, down. It means paramagnetic materials are showing inverse relation with temperature. Now I am talking about parrot green curve, that is representing ferromagnetic species. Initially, you can see a rapid fall in the curve, and then this line becomes black and showing a somehow linear relationship with temperature. So the temperature onward, which ferromagnetic materials starting showing behavior like paramagnetic species known as Curie temperature. And then the red colored curve is showing you the behavior of anti-ferromagnetic species. Initially, you can see the, the curve is rising, so it means initially there is a direct relation between magnetic susceptibility and temperature. But after certain temperature, the line becomes blue. It means the behavior is just like paramagnetic materials, and the temperature on which the materials starting showing their relation inverse with susceptibility is known as Néel temperature, or we can say that at Néel temperature antiferromagnetic materials are converted into paramagnetic materials, and at Curie temperature ferromagnetic materials are converted into paramagnetic species. One thing that anti-ferromagnetic materials are attracted towards magnetic fields. Sometimes students are confused with the name of anti. So it does not mean that they are anti to applied magnetic field. The materials which are repelled by applied magnetic field are only diamagnetic species. All the rest of four magnetic states of materials are attracted towards applied magnetic. Ferromagnetic substances, when heated beyond Curie temperature, they become paramagnetics. The temperature at which a ferromagnetic substance loses its ferromagnetism and attains paramagnetism only is called as Curie temperature. A ferromagnet will lose its magnetism if heated above its Curie temperature. The temperature above which a material will lose its magnetization. The Curie temperature for iron is 770 degrees Celsius, and if we mention this temperature in Kelvin, then it will be just adding up 273 in 770, and the figure will become 1043 Kelvin. The second temperature belongs to cobalt, and its value is around 1121 degrees Celsius. Then there is a gadolinium. Its temperature is 631 Kelvin. Below this temperature, paramagnets behave as ferromagnets. Curie and Néel temperature in lanthanide table shows Néel, that is antiferromagnetic, and Curie, that is ferromagnetic temperature in lanthanides. This data has been taken from the book of Taylor and Francis that was published in 1970. In the first column, you can see lanthanides from cerium to Tm, and in the second row, there is a Néel temperature, and you can see that there is no Curie temperature. So it means that these materials are anti-ferromagnetic materials. Effective magnetic moment. When the Curie law is obeyed, the product of molar susceptibility and temperature is a constant. The effective magnetic moment is then defined as constant into under root of Tx, where C has CGS unit in centimeter cube per mole per Kelvin, and mu effective is equal to under root of 3k over n mu square p into under root of tx is approximately 2.82787 under root of tx. And in previous slides, we have studied that this factor is around 2.83, where C has SI units in meter cube per mole per Kelvin. So mu effective in this unit will become 797.727 into under root of Tx. The quantity mu is effectively dimensionless, but is often stated in units of Bohr magneton. For substances that obey Curie law, the effective magnetic moment is independent of temperature. For other substances, mu effective is temperature dependent, but the dependence is small if the Curie-Weiss law holds and Curie temperature is low. Now we shall uh, discuss some questions related to this topic, that what are factors on which magnetic properties depend. Then explain Curie law and Curie-Weiss law in magnetism. For these two questions, like previous lecture, you have to prepare your answer on a piece of paper, or you can type on your laptop or cell phone, and you have to post in your Google Classroom as a comment, or you can also post in assignment box, so that I can evaluate you and mark your numbers. With this, I would like to say thanks to all of you for listening my lecture. Mostly in the lectures, the things are being repeated. This repetition is actually a compulsion of lectures. Sometimes just giving a reference of previous lecture is not enough to keep the point clear, because sometimes uh, in online classes it is not possible to develop a proper contact between an instructor and student. So that's why I have repeated so many things in my lectures to make the point clear to you. So even though if you have some question or query regarding any type of questions, you can ask me on WhatsApp. You can also post the questions in your Google Classroom, and inshallah we'll see you in my next lecture. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum. Allah Hafiz.